Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome on Facebook Live, YouTube.com, KEVOLE, Soundcloud.com, KEVOLE, Spreaker.com, KEVOLE. And I just saw this tweet from this weekend. There was in over 38 countries. There was marches all over the world, the Women's March, the annual Women's March that I went to last year. I was not able to go to this year, but it was very well attended in a number of different places, including here in Vancouver, even though it was a very rainy day. And some were really excited and empowered and loved to be a part of it. Happened in Calgary. I saw some videos even in Calgary and in Edmonton and lots of places, of course, all across the world. However, there was a woman named Sonia Kont. I hope I pronounced that right. Kont. She is the communications director for the UCP party in Alberta. And she tweeted this weekend. Unpopular opinion. These ideological marches like the one in Washington does not empower women. Last time I checked, we all had the same rights in society. Hashtag Canadian polity. So, of course, when you start with an unpopular opinion, it is fair that you're going to get some backlash. She got some. She also got some support. She also tweeted this as part of her conversation. For part of her thread is, I'm all for democratic protests and marches, but this one has no clarity of purpose. There are better ways to empower women instead of playing identity politics in a march. Now, to be fair, some certainly have agreed with her, but some disagreed with her. This is one of the responses of many. She got a lot of comments about what she said, and then she said some stuff after, and she then had an interview, at least one interview that I heard today. And but this is one that I wanted to get into a little bit and kind of dig into this because, as I said here as the title, I think Sonia Kont is missing the point. And I know that I'm a man. That may not seem weird that I'm going to just bear with me here as we chat about this going forward. Her point, which was a tweet from Alberta Can't Wait, which was, save your lectures. No one here knows the value of women's rights and freedoms more than Sonia. While you grew up in a comfortable living enjoying all the freedoms of the West, Sonia grew up in eastern Turkey as a Kurd where women had no rights. She's seen women tortured and continues and stoned to death. If you had seen what she has seen and lived through what she has lived through, you would hang your head in shame right now for your holier-than-mighty lectures. Well, actually, maybe you're missing the point of why women are marching. And it's funny that people do this. And I know this is a person, sometimes we do this to people that are not doing well financially. Well, you could be living in Africa and you're still part of the 1 or 2% that are still rich. While that's true, and I understand the intention of the gratitude here, I think that it's just pointing out that it could be worse is missing the point. And same here, it could be worse is missing the point. But not only that, I think you're missing the entire point of why people are marching. And let's look through some examples, because apparently Alberta Can't Wait and Sonia Kont are missing some things. Let's talk about wage gap. From Statistics Canada, figures show that women holding a bachelor's degree have a median income of $68,342 in 2016. That's an annual salary. While men with the same level of education, a bachelor's degree, earn $82,082. In Alberta, they have the largest Canadian wage gap for women is actually in Alberta, in where Sonia Kont is, in Alberta Can't Wait is tweeting from. That is the largest wage gap for women. Now, maybe I'm too simple. I know, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. Sometimes, who knows? But to me, I'm not the perfect scientist, but if a person is doing the same job with the same qualifications, I think they should actually get paid the same. There's tweets that this is actually a complex issue. This isn't a complex issue. If you're qualified and you do the exact same thing and do the exact same job, you should make the same wage. Not men making $82,082 and women making $68,342. That doesn't make sense. That seems simple to me. I'm not been the science strength, but this seems simple to me. Let's go on to some other stuff here, because wage cap is, we can unpack this, but let's talk about some of the things that have been said. This was just yesterday. This is from an analyst named Ron Duguay, a former hockey legend, on the officiating in the New York Rangers loss to the Los Angeles Kings. I think these guys would have been better off doing women's hockey today, because the way they did the officiating, they were kind of soft. Another backhanded compliment or a backhanded slap and an insult to women from a male. Not the first time, but yeah. This is another comment that I saw on social media towards a woman. I really wish you would go away. You and your sister and a few other Edmonton women activism and its causes. You're ambassadors. You are the parking brakes of progress. Now, I know who this was directed to. It was, and you probably have seen it too. And I don't think that anyone would talk about Daniel Paradis as a person as a parking brake of progress. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. How about this? This is an article from, because one of the arguments that Sonia has been making is this doesn't really fit in necessarily the conservative women mentality. But this is an article from Michelle Rempel, and this is a quote from that, so I don't want to read this to you. The everyday sexism I face involves confronting the, air quote, bitch epithet when I don't automatically comply with someone's request or capitulate on my position on an issue. Confronting assumptions that I have gotten to my station in life and by insert your choice of sexual act with insert your choice of man in position of authority. Enduring speculation and value judgments about my fertility, and responding to commentary that links my appearance to my competency. It involves my ass being occasionally grabbed as a way to shock me into submission. It involves tokenism. It involves something being written off as not serious when I've clearly proven I am. Now, I don't know Sonia. I've never met Sonia. Maybe you have out in Alberta. Some of you have. That's fine. Perhaps her world, this isn't it. But, And she's taken some, and there were others that have taken issues with these marches, feeling that they're only for a certain political stripe. And perhaps some feel that maybe this is for some political stripes and not others. I'm not going to necessarily comment on that because, I'm not an organizer of the event. And, by the way, the event isn't for me specifically, although I have attended and wanted to, lend my voice in this. And you may be asking why I'm weighing in on this. And I just did some personal reflection this week because I was in a course. And one of the things that we had to do is write down people that have influenced me. And it was far more women that influenced me than men. And some of you may think, well, that's not very manly, Kevin. But I think if there was more men in the room, and if we had a group of men that had to do that exercise, most of the influencers and mentors in our lives are women. They certainly have spoken into my life. I've actually had way more female bosses than male bosses. Most of my bosses have been female. They've spoken for me. They've spoken to me. They've showed me a better way to treat others. They've shown me a work ethic. They've shown me how to stand up for others and how to put people first. They've created, but we as men, and even in a struggle, even if you're struggling a little bit, we do live in a sense of privilege as males anyway. As I examine more in terms of the wage gap, we do make more money. In the industry that I'm in, broadcasting, I think it's fair to say that the male, especially in sports broadcasting, the male voice has found it easier to get through than the female voice. I don't know if there's much debate in that. There's a certain advantage that we have in many ways. And yet, it seems that the women have spoken up and have spoken into these situations, and in many ways, men have felt silent. And yet, we still see the disrespect all over the world. It's not only wage cap. In Saudi Arabia, they just announced that women can drive. And that seems so ridiculous, but actually it's crazy when you think that it's almost been only 100 years that women were allowed to vote. By the way, as a Christian, I also know that there were women that were trained to be pastors, that studied as pastors, and there was a certain time that their instructors would not pass them because they were women. That I know, I've heard that story. But why we have these advances is because women have been taking these stands and making these, not only these marches in the street, fighting tooth and nail in negotiation rooms, standing up and fighting for people. There's still a lot of work to be done. And that's why these marches and these discussions and these Me Too and the Me Too movement and all of these discussions are important, because it doesn't just happen to one side. It doesn't just happen to the political left. It's happening to all women all across the world. And it's not only the world in front of you, in our present world, whether you're living in Vancouver, Calgary, wherever, but it's the positions and the things that are being made all across the world. That's why these conversations are important. And that's why Sonia Kont is missing the point, because she's seeing it in her world, but I think she's missing the point of what exactly is happening. And I have a hunch if she actually went, from what I've read from a lot of women, they would have welcomed her with open arms and eyes, I'm sure. But that is what we are talking about today. What do you think of what Sonia Kont said? What do you think of my response? You can comment on YouTube. We'll go through Facebook Live as we're doing this right now. Also, I'm doing it on YouTube Live as well, so I'm multitasking as well as on YouTube. You'll listen to the audio on Spreaker. No comments. That's okay. Let me know what you think. And again, you can follow me on KEVOLE on Twitter, Facebook.com, Kevin Olenick. I do the Facebook Lives. I do the Facebook Lives. I make those public, and also on YouTube as well. One comment, what is particularly of note is that it was a movie starred by a woman of color, and that has a silencing quality. Yes, that's very true. And that's something I think very important to say about that as well. Absolutely, 100% on that for sure. But let me know what you think. Also follow me on Twitter, KEVOLE. Follow the podcast, Spreaker.com, KEVOLE, Soundcloud.com, KEVOLE as well. Hope you're all having a great day. We will do another one tomorrow. Got some interviews lined up as well. And hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.